Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film Two Guns. Is a slight throwback movie to the days of when you could have two stars star in an action picture, and that would draw people out, and that would be the big movie of the year. Those days have since gone, and you'd have things like 48 Hours, Lethal Weapon, and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Denzel Washington, who plays Bobby, and Mark Wahlberg, who plays Marcus, and they both deal with giving drug lords passports and trading money, but they're really undercover agents. Mark Wahlberg works for the Navy, Denzel Washington works for the DEA, but neither of them know it until they hold up a bank and realize that both of them are working undercover and they're not sure whose money they stole from the bank, even though they thought it was a drug dealer, and lots of complications happen from that bank robbery. I think one of the biggest problems with Two Guns is that it wants to be a throwback, but it's also very much a modern action movie. Now, there's definitely pluses about this, and it doesn't fall under completely what exactly you're supposed to do with a modern Hollywood action film, which is usually kind of boring. This film kind of excels in some points what something like a 48 Hours or a Paul Newman, Robert Redford film would, in that it has these two stars with lots of charisma together, and that Denzel Washington and Mark Wahlberg both are doing kind of movie star performances. They're very safe, they're very audience friendly, they're very likable, and they get along really well. And that's fun to watch. And if this film was primarily based on their relationship, or that was kind of a theme of the movie, or it had more to do with the movie, I think I would have really liked this film. And that was really kind of what I was expecting. I mean, the whole poster is just them with guns, with two guns, so I figured, hey, maybe this will be kind of like one of those. And I like 48 Hours and Lethal Weapon, thing that this film is throwing back to, but this film is just so complicated when you get to this whole thing with how many people are covering up who this money is for. And there's so many Hollywood films where it's so overly complicated and needlessly complicated that it just makes these films ultimately forgettable and boring. And towards the end of the film, I just wanted to leave. I wanted this to be over. I didn't understand why we had so many people involved in this. I mean, at first, you start off, you have Mark Wahlberg, Denzel Washington, and Edward James Olmos as the drug dealer, and then you find out they're both these undercover agents. So then you have the Navy, which that never really made a lot of sense why the Navy's dealing with land, but I don't know a lot about the Navy, so maybe they do non-water stuff too. And then Denzel Washington is a DEA agent, and you have to deal with all the DEA people, and then the CIA's involved, and Bill Paxton's there, although I like Bill Paxton, so that was cool. But why are there all these people? Even in the films this film is throwing back to, there might be a vast conspiracy, but this is too vast. It's too much. So concerned with who this money goes to, it doesn't really work on the relationship. And even that is weird because it focuses more on Denzel's character. I feel like it's really Denzel's movie, but it still wants to be this throwback movie with two movie stars shooting guns and trying to find what's right and what's loyal and all this nonsense. It's kind of confused in what it's trying to do. The action sequences are shot okay. They're not complete failures. I could tell what was going on. I like the direction by Icelandic director Baltazar Kamakur. I saw his first film, 101 Reykjavik, and he directed Contraband with Mark Wahlberg last year. It's interesting to see a foreign director make such an American movie, and I've seen that with this film and with The Last Stand, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, which was directed by Kim Ji-woon. I kind of actually like the direction in The Last Stand from Kim Ji-woon a lot more because you can tell he really studied American action films before he did it. But also The Last Stand is more fun. It's fun, there's the conspiracy is stupid, but it's more concerned with having fun, and Two Guns is too concerned with a stupid mystery. Why am I going to Two Guns? I'm not going to see this vast conspiracy where the CIA has a slush fund and how that's involved and how the drug cartels are paying them off and all this nonsense. It's just stupid. No one cares about that. No one sees Two Guns for that. And it doesn't make for a compelling movie. I want to see their relationship, which should be at the center of this film, but it's not for whatever reason. It's the conspiracy thing. It's just boring. This director is talented, but he starts off kind of doing something a little different from what a lot of mainstream directors are doing. He's not doing a comic book that has a lot of special effects and CGI, and it feels a little more natural. It tries to have this stripped down vibe, but then it has the script of a normal Hollywood movie. It's like pretending it's doing something new, but it's really just the same thing. I'm not going to act like this director's not talented. I think he really is. I think he does a decent enough action sequence, not a spectacular action sequence, not great staging, not great action cinematography. I thought the cinematography actually was pretty weak for the most part. I mean, there's no spectacular shots in it, and I thought, you know, if you're not going to have all that, you should have really great star charisma, and it did, but it just, honestly, I would have liked just more of that and more action sequences and star charisma. That's what I came to Two Guns for. I didn't come to see the stupid conspiracy. In 48 hours, I don't remember what the conspiracy is, really, or what the investigation's about, but I remember their chemistry between Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy, and Two Guns wasn't thinking about that so much, just thinking about, oh, we have to have this well-orchestrated plot or whatever reason. In 2 years' time, I did too, like the movie, you're not going to really remember Two Guns, but in 2 years' time, I'm going to remember 48 Hours. And, you know, it's not fair to compare Two Guns to 48 Hours, because 48 Hours is a classic and directed by Walter Hill, but it is fair to bring it up because it's a similar concept, and there's a reason you remember those films, and the reason you remember those films is because they did a compelling character and a compelling charisma between two actors. And having that not in Two Guns makes it just kind of like a normal, boring Hollywood movie rather than a different kind of Hollywood movie, which it was presenting itself as. So if you have seen Two Guns and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.